much like all professional sports, auto racing has had some great nicknames over the years. In NASCAR specifically, we've had such legendary nicknames like the King, the Silver Fox, the Rainbow Warrior, the Intimidator. And then we've also had nicknames that either doesn't correlate, make no sense, or just downright bad. And that's basically what this countdown is basically about. So join me for this very innovative presentation that makes fun of some of the stupidest nicknames that both race car drivers, TV personalities, to a certain extent, and even racetracks have had. This is Top 20 Countdown. NASCAR nicknames that need to die. White Lightning. Okay, let's be honest. Nobody knows the Dover International Speedway for White Lightning. Especially in today's generation. In fact, the only time that people in my generation say the words White Lightning is if they have a blue-eyes white dragon attacking someone in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Let's just stick with the Monster Mile and ditch the White Lightning Association. The Great American Speedway. Nothing wrong with the nickname itself, but I kind of think that that particular nickname should go to a racetrack that is actually older than 20 years old. Like the Texas Motor Speedway is kind of close to that. At the time of this taping, the Texas Motor Speedway is technically 20 years old, since it opened in 1996, and this video was done in 2016. There are plenty more racetracks out there that are well deserving of this good nickname. I don't think a track that's 20 years old is quite ready for that. Now, maybe in a half a century, it could be a different story. Just not now. The Outlaw. For a good portion of the later 2000s and the early 2010s, the Outlaw was an intriguing nickname that was given to Kurt Busch. But ever since that BS scandal involving an ex-girlfriend of his, Kurt himself has ditched the nickname. So it's pretty much obvious we should too. In fact, Kurt Busch himself actually does have a new nickname given to him by mainly the people of NASCAR Race Hub, but maybe a few other areas too. So let's just stick to Kurt Busch's new and more legitified nickname, Radio Sweetheart. Herman the German. Now, the first story that I had heard with Kenny Wallace getting this nickname is that it's basically a comic strip character who was in the papers for Kenny's hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. The only problem is when I looked up the Herman the German nickname, I got a bunch of different characters or other objects related to the nickname. None of them was a comic strip character. I got it as the nickname for Arminius, Kenny Wallace, and a pro wrestler by the name of Ulf Herman. It's also a translator for the 13th century by the name of Hermanus Alamanus. A monument for Arminius. I'll get it right here in a minute. I got the nickname of a floating crane, a German-American aviation engineer for General Electric named Gerhard Newman. Some character from the 1975 horrendous film Death Race 2000, a 1985 Scorpion drummer album, or a small fast food chain in London that sells German meat products. Yeah, more than positive that none of these are a comic strip character. So, apparently the story that I had heard about the origin of that nickname for Kenny Wallace was inaccurate. And because of that, and because Herman the German made no sense to begin with in my book, I just stick with my own personal nickname for Kenny Wallace, and you guys should too, the nickname of Funny Bone. Big Mac. Okay, I get it. Jamie McMurray is sometimes sponsored by McDonald's. I get it. I get the correlation. However, many fans, including myself, call Jamie other nicknames based on McDonald's food. My own personal nickname for Jamie McMurray is one that actually works for him because the actual food item rhymes. So here, everyone, is the new nickname for Jamie McMurray, Jamie McFlurry. Dumb? Maybe, but it's also logical, so I'm sticking with it. Sliced bread. Once again, nothing wrong with the nickname, but with the comeuppance of both Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, I don't think the sliced bread nickname applies to Joey Logano, especially if you're a Kenseth lover. I do know the origin of the nickname when it comes to Logano. Apparently Mark Martin said that Logano was the greatest thing since sliced bread. The Gibbs crew ran with it. Didn't work out for them, because you know how Gibbs is with their mega baddies, and Logano's not mega baddie material. He's baddie material, but not mega baddie material. But Logano is trying to prove his worth, first with Gibbs and then with Penske. But as good as Logano tends to be during his own moments of brilliance, I don't think the sliced bread nickname applies to him anymore. As I said just a few seconds ago, I think it mainly can apply to that of Chase Elliott or Ryan Blaney today. I know some of you may think Erik Jones is deserving of that nickname. Maybe even other future stars could be worthy of that nickname. Logano in his heyday as a youngin' in the NASCAR world, yes, but not now. Personally, I think it should be Chase Elliott's nickname. The diamond in the desert. I don't care if your garage area somewhat looks like a diamond. Take it from someone who knows. You may be in the desert, but you're sure as hell no diamond. The Forbidden Racetrack should be a better nickname for the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but I don't know how many of you will actually accept that. So let's just stick with a no nickname scenario for this track. Cause diamond you ain't. The Magic Mile. Much like there's nothing special about Las Vegas enough to make it have a nickname with the word diamond in it, there is sure as hell nothing magical about the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Unless you're watching a Whelen Modified race. So, no New Hampshire, you're not magical. You're just not. Horseface! Just... why? Happy Harvick. Is Kevin Harvick really happy about anything when he's inside the race car? I'm gonna go with no. Now, I would say at this point that Unhappy Harvick would be a better nickname, especially when it comes to his pit crew. But I do believe there is a more legitimate nickname we can give to Kevin Harvick. And if you've been on my channel long enough, you'll know what that is. For the rest of you, you're gonna have to wait until later. The Cat in the Hat. Jack Roush is known as the Cat in the Hat, but Jack does not have the hat of the cat. If Jack had the hat, as you will see here, then Jack's nickname would have nothing to fear. Special K. Okay, I have no idea what the origin of this nickname for Matt Kenseth is, but not only is it not used much, I think it's pretty much better off dead, because there's a couple different nicknames, especially in the last decade, that Matt Kenseth has definitely earned over the years. Now, say you're a WWE fan. So surely the creative nickname of Matt Kenseth Rollins definitely applies. And if you got that reference, congratulations. If you don't, you can just call him the more common nickname he has in this generation, Coward. Because that's all Matt Kenseth is. Rocket Man! Now we're going to get into the realm of nicknames made up by Mike Joy. Great. Anyway, the Rocky Man nickname was basically given to Ryan Newman because throughout the first few years of his Cup Series career, he won a crap ton of poles, especially when he was with Penske Racing. Nowadays, not so much. In fact, at the time of this taping, Ryan Newman had not won a pole in the Cup Series in over 3 years. Yeah, I think it's time for the Rocky Man nickname to go away. Now, I have come up with a few nicknames I think could fit Ryan Newman. There's the Engineer, the true 2014 Cup Champion, or Mike Joy's Boy Toy. But I don't know if any of those 3 nicknames will actually stick. What do you guys think? Do you think any of those 3 nicknames could stick? I'm personally leaning towards the Engineer, since he is a engineer degree representative. But engineer can also apply to trains, and he's not a train person. So, maybe we'll figure out a new nickname for Ryan Newman one day. But anyway. Jaws. Okay, so the origin of Darrell Waltrip getting the Jaws nickname is that a lot of competitors have a bunch of issues basically about Darrell Waltrip bragging and talking a bit too much, especially in the late 70s and pretty much throughout the 80s. Just one problem. Along that time, a very popular movie came out called Jaws that basically relates to a shark. Darrell Waltrip's no shark. So instead of calling him Jaws, let's just basically call Darrell Waltrip what he is. Motormouth! Wild Thing! Okay, I don't exactly know why Mike Joy basically started calling Kyle Busch Wild Thing, unless he knows something personal about Kyle Busch's music collection, which relates to the famous song mostly known by the Trogs. But anyway, there are some wild things about Kyle, mainly his driving style, and how he races a lot of people, and how wild he can be off the track. But wild thing doesn't realistically apply to Kyle. Because when you think wild in a good way, not wild in a freaky way. So let's just discern that nickname away from Kyle, shall we? Crybaby! Why? Because even though Jeff Gordon is the main driver associated with that nickname, especially in the 90s, and once again starting in the mid-2000s until pretty much his last win, the Crybaby nickname has far and surpassed Jeff Gordon in terms of the crybabiness definition of a crybaby, and has pretty much gone on to another elder statesman in the Cup Series who is way more deserving of that nickname than Jeff Gordon ever was. And take a wild guess who that is. The Cuban Missile. Okay, I get it. Aric Almirola is of Cuban descent, and I'm sure he would appreciate having a nickname that relates to his Cuban heritage. There's just one tiny problem with the Cuban Missile nickname, and it's this thing called the Cuban Missile Crisis. Aric Almirola wasn't even around when the Cuban Missile Crisis happened, and I really don't think it's good for him to have a nickname that associated something pretty bad. Now, if he had a nickname like maybe the Cuban Comet, because he flew like a comet to get the Daytona win that he got in 2014, maybe something like that would be a little bit better. You can call him the Cuban anything, except cigar, because it makes no sense because he doesn't smoke, as far as I know. And sure as hell not the Cuban Missile, because don't you think that'd be kind of offensive to someone like him? Especially after what the Cuban Missile Crisis actually was? Yeah! Let's go with the Cuban Comet. Way less offensive towards someone like him. The World Center of Racing. Sorry, Daytona, the world center of racing is Indianapolis, not you. But there are potential possibilities for a nickname for Daytona. The main one that comes to my mind is the house that France built. Now, if you want to avoid confusion for people of the future who think that the country France built it, then you can call it the house that Big Bill built. Either one of these nicknames can work for Daytona. The World Center of Racing? No. The Closer / Mr. Where Did He Come From? And the dumbest nickname given to somebody by Mike Joy is this one. Okay, I get it. Kevin Harvick manages to, quote, close the deal a lot, especially in the last few laps of a race. Here's the problem. A lot of drivers do that. Why should that be a nickname for Kevin Harvick? Unhappy Harvick is a better nickname than the Closer or Mr. Where Did He Come From? In fact, let's just call Kevin Harvick what he is. The Instigator. How many times has Kevin Harvick instigated something and either got away with it, got away scot-free from it, and... I'm sorry, the Closer or Mr. Where Did He Come From, let alone Happy Harvick, is a stupid nickname for Kevin Harvick. Let's just call him either Unhappy Harvick or give him the nickname he is bound to have. He took over for the Intimidator, for Pete's sake. So let's just give a nickname similar to that. The Instigator. Case closed. And the number one stupid NASCAR nickname that needs to die is... Bad Brad. And you thought Horseface was stupid. This is the dumbest one. Bad Brad.
If you take out the R in Brad, you get bad, so let's call him Bad Brad, right? He's bad. He's a bad driver, isn't he?
No. It just, ugh. There are some nicknames that are so stupid, it's unbelievable. And I can relate to something like this. My first name is Mary, right? Do you know what a lot of people called me in middle and high school? Scary Mary. Why? Because I was smarter, especially in math, and stronger than a lot of the kids in my grade class. Yes, because of that, I'm scary. Stupid. And the same thing goes for Bad Brad.
Oh no, Brad Keselowski did something. Oh no, he tried to hurt Carl Edwards because Carl Edwards blocking all that stuff.
No. Edwards blocking does not make Keselowski a bad driver. Edwards trying to kill Keselowski twice does not make Keselowski a bad driver. Say all the stupid things you want. A lot of times that the people say this, they're Keselowski haters. Did Brad do anything wrong when he won the championship in 2012? No, so let's quit the garbage with that nickname. Heh? Good lord, there's at least 3 other nicknames that make more sense. And here's the funny part. The main one that caught my attention actually happened in a qualifying interview back when ESPN had the coverage a few years ago. When Brad Keselowski made a good run, I forgot the racetrack, Jerry Punch came up to him and gave him a very cool nickname that I think works. Brad KO. Because he can KO the competition on the racetrack by doing things the right way. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Brad does that. You know what he also does? Basically more masterful than anyone, and there have been plenty of race finishes that prove this. He can definitely thread the needle. So let's call him the Threader. Makes logical sense to me. Or if you're known for basic nicknames, BK is also a good option. But Bad Brad, stupid!
What to do? Bad rhymes with Brad. Take the R out of Brad to get bad. Stupid!
Just as stupid as people calling me Scary Mary. Ugh. So, for the love of God, let's just kill off the Bad Brad nickname. There's a lot of drivers that can be called bad. Brad Keselowski ain't one of them. Good lord. Let's just stop the garbage right now with that nickname. In fact, let's stop the garbage with all these other nicknames that we've discussed in this video. What nickname
nicknames do you have for the people and places that were featured in this video? Please let me know in the comments sector. And maybe we can give these guys and racetracks the nicknames they are actually deserving of. Let's embrace debate on this conversation. Especially the horrendous nicknames that basically are the entire countdown. And the nicknames that I think would be better off with these people. So that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this video. And hopefully I enlightened you guys on some ridiculousness in NASCAR. Basically these horrendous NASCAR nicknames that need to go away. Thank you everybody for watching. This is Ultimate 23 Dragon, and that's my final answer.
Two more cars hard in the wall behind them. One is Hornish.
Someone has run underneath the 5 car, it looks
The
like.
other's Reed Sorensen, and Mears ends up on his roof.